Do you believe wholeheartedly that Jay's your father?
I really do. And if it's not, why you can't prove me wrong? Like it's not far as a proving me wrong thing. It's go to the courtroom and basically do what everybody else would have had.
Something wild is going down at the Carter household because Queen Beyoncé is not doing okay right now. The street's been whispering for years, and now DNA receipts allegedly confirm it. Jay-Z's secret firstborn son might actually be real. And that whole perfect image they've been pushing, yeah, it's starting to crack. This ain't just some random internet rumor or a fake messy side story. This is a full-blown paternity scandal with court papers, DNA tests, and a grown man claiming that Jay-Z's been ducking him for decades. Now the truth is banging on the door and things are getting way too real. Word on the curb is Beyoncé's been scrambling behind closed doors trying to keep it all under wraps. She's been dodging questions and working overtime to shut it all down.
The Beyoncé thing came when a friend of mine who knew her, somebody in her camp, and she said something supposedly, this is all hearsay, about regarding saying Ramir needs to go away little boy, something to that effect. There was something out there. But yeah, people were saying that she's a big part of the problems for him. And some of the things that she was doing, a woman would not, she would have some sort of role in what her husband does. And if she was secure with herself and with the situation, not saying you gotta like it, she would help her husband handle it.
But baby, the DNA test is out, and social media in total meltdown. Jay-Z's biggest secret just came waltzing through the front door like it owned the place. So now everybody's asking the same question. Did Jay-Z really lie all these years about having a secret son? Or is this grown man truly his first child? Either way, the Carter family's perfect image is taking some serious hits right now.
7. My mom had to sit down with me. I guess she thought I was old enough to know now, and she been saying Sean Carter, that's what she was calling him at first before she was calling Jay-Z. And I really didn't know who that was because I was young and, had my little brother, and I really wasn't worrying about it. She was saying it a lot, but I really just was going along with the person I was just seeing, like the person I looked at who was taking care of me at that time. I really wasn't really trying to understand what my mom was talking about, but she constantly put it in my head like, son, it's not your father, and I really want you to know what it is. This person is your father.
So how long has Beyoncé really known about all this chaos? Buckle up, because this whole thing is straight up scandalous. Ramir, the man who's been claiming Jay-Z is his father for years, just scored a major win in this messy back and forth. Word in the streets is the court finally told Jay-Z to stop dodging and hand over that DNA sample for real this time. No more stalling, no more hiding. If you've been following this saga, then you already know Ramir's been out here saying Jay-Z is his dad for over a decade. And in all that time, Jay's been swerving legal orders left and right, doing everything to avoid taking that paternity test. But now, that runaround is done. The court is done playing, and they've officially ordered the DNA test to go down.
Really coming out here for the truth. I don't want no money or anything. I wasn't looking for none of that. I just want to know the truth. And if I can't go to the courts and get the truth, like, what is it really? What is it? I just really want it over. It's something that's really affecting my life.
So after all these years of whispers, headlines, and guessing games, we're finally about to get the truth. But here's where it flips, because the real reason Jay-Z's been dragging his feet allegedly has nothing to do with Ramir and everything to do with Beyoncé. That's right. Sources are saying Jay's been protecting her image, not just his own, and this whole thing could explode way beyond just a paternity issue. People been asking for years, if Jay-Z was really so sure the kid wasn't his, why not just take the DNA test and shut it down in 10 seconds flat? But insiders are saying the real reason it never happened isn't even about Jay. It's Beyoncé who's been putting the brakes on this from the start. Allegedly, Queen Bey's been doing everything she can behind the scenes to keep this story buried, because the last thing she wanted was the world finding out that Jay might have fathered a child outside their 3 kids, especially after all the drama that's already hit their doorstep. The cheating scandals, that infamous elevator fight, Lemonade airing out the dirty laundry, and even her own dad having kids outside the marriage. It's been wave after wave of mess. Beyoncé has worked hard to build that flawless image, a whole empire wrapped in perfection. But if a secret firstborn son comes out now, that entire image could blow up overnight. And now that the court has officially stepped in and told Jay-Z to hand over that DNA, Beyoncé's worst nightmare might actually come true. And you know Ramir is celebrating right now. After all these years of being ignored, pushed aside, and told to stay quiet, the spotlight is finally on his side. No matter what the DNA test says, this man is finally about to get the answers he's been chasing his whole life.
I have enough information to keep the case going, so it was a big case to me because, you know, I really wanted to find out who my father was, and for the case not to go how I was planning it, I really thought it was going to go different than what it was, but, well, I really feel like it should have been over with because, you know, I feel like if it was anybody else, you know, like, oh, I'm not saying this because people got higher standards or people make more money than that, but it's this different because, you know, if it was anybody else that made a low income, I feel like they would have had them in there way faster.
Say what you want about him, but this case has been haunting him for over a decade, and at this point, it's way bigger than just Jay-Z. At the end of the day, this ain't just about fame or money, it's about basic decency and respect. The internet has been dragging Rahmir for years, calling him a clout chaser, saying he's just riding the Carter name to get paid or grab his 15 minutes. But if you've actually been listening to Rahmir, he's said it again and again, this was never about money. In one interview, he even said straight up, "Everybody's looking at me saying I'm chasing Jay-Z, I want money. I'm doing this for fame. This was never about money for me. My whole thing was just to see who my father was." And to make it even clearer, he explained he's been out here grinding on his own. Rahmir's got 2 jobs, takes care of himself, and ain't asking for a handout. He just wants the truth and a little bit of respect from the legal system. And he said, "I got my own money. I work 2 jobs. I take care of my own business. I just need closure. And I wanted respect from the courts. Just like everybody else goes in there and gets respect and gets fair due process. Why didn't I get that? Why did I just get brushed to the side?" And honestly, that's the question that's hitting everybody right now. Because now, with the courts finally forcing Jay-Z to cough up that DNA, Rahmir might finally get the truth he's been chasing his whole life. Jay might have 99 problems, but this DNA test just became one of the biggest. And let's be real, Rahmir's finally catching a break, and it might just be the best day he's had in years. But you already know who's not smiling, and that's Beyoncé. Word in the streets is she's been the one allegedly pulling strings behind closed doors, pressuring Jay-Z to keep this thing buried. But now, that pressure's turning into panic. Some folks say Jay-Z's never acknowledged Rahmir because he was supposedly born outside of his current relationship. But here's what's not adding up. If Rahmir's timeline is accurate, Jay-Z allegedly had him way before Beyoncé even came into the picture. So technically, this shouldn't even be threatening their marriage, right? But let's not act brand new out here. Beyoncé's whole brand is built on that ride or die image, the power couple life, loyalty, and the empire they stacked together. That stand by your man reputation helped build a billion-dollar legacy. And even though Rahmir's made it very clear that he doesn't want Jay's money, doesn't want the fame, and doesn't care about stepping into their celebrity world, the reality is there's billions tied up in the Carter name. And Beyoncé's not about to let some confirmed secret child throw a grenade into all of that. But hold up, it gets even messier. Word in the streets is another major reason Beyoncé allegedly didn't want Jay-Z to take that DNA test is because of how young Rahmir's mother was when all this supposedly happened. According to what's been whispered, she may have been underage at the time Jay-Z allegedly got her pregnant. If there's any truth to that, this could blow all the way up. Everything happening now could shift from scandal to something way more serious and fast. Just look at what recently happened with Diddy. And let's not forget, Jay-Z's name has already been mentioned in lawsuits in the past involving disturbing accusations. Now just picture the fallout if that DNA test comes back confirmed, and it proves Jay-Z fathered a child with a girl who wasn't even legal yet. But it gets way crazier, because according to Rahmir's guardian, there was actually a time when Jay-Z's team was open to building some kind of relationship with Rahmir. That is, until Beyoncé allegedly found out about the whole underage angle, and the second she heard the details, she shut it all the way down. Rahmir's guardian spilled that his mother, Wanda, was only 16 years old when she allegedly met Jay-Z. Now, to be fair, there's talk that Wanda may have told him she was older, but regardless of that, they hooked up, the protection failed, and Wanda ended up pregnant. Here's where it gets tricky. Wanda didn't have Jay-Z's real info, no number, no direct contact. He was already chasing fame, building his career, and she had no way to track him down. So years went by with no answers. But one thing can't be ignored. If this really happened, Wanda was 16, and Jay-Z was at least 22. That's a major age gap. And in today's climate, that kind of detail can ruin careers in a heartbeat. And let's be real, Beyoncé knows how dangerous this could be. With everything happening in the industry lately and the lawsuits circling some powerful men, she was not about to let this mess land in their lap. That's why, according to insiders, once she caught wind of the situation, she slammed that door shut with zero hesitation. This isn't just about a secret son, it's about protecting the empire from a scandal that could obliterate everything they built. Now the heat is rising and it looks like time's running out. Ramir says this situation stretches all the way back to the 90s, when his mom Wanda allegedly got involved with Jay-Z. And now, decades later, the truth might finally come knocking, with receipts. According to what Ramir's been saying, Jay-Z and Wanda did use protection, but it clearly failed, and that's how she ended up pregnant with Ramir. But this story takes a wild turn because by the time Wanda gave birth, she was already with another dude named Robert. And get this, Robert knew from the jump that the baby wasn't his, but he still signed the birth certificate. Insiders say Wanda was still unconscious from giving birth when Robert went behind her back and put his name down as the father. At first, people thought he was just trying to play hero, like maybe he felt bad for Wanda and wanted to help. But nah, the real reason came out later, and it was way more selfish than sweet. Word is Robert only signed that paper so he could collect extra food stamps and government benefits. Yup, it wasn't about love or loyalty, it was about that check. And if that's not messy enough, both Robert and Wanda were still minors at the time. So technically, Robert wasn't even legally allowed to sign anything like that. He wasn't supposed to be putting his name on any birth certificates. Ramir also said he's known about this whole situation since he was around 8 years old. That's when his mom, Wanda, sat him down and told him the truth, that Jay-Z was really his biological father. Can you imagine carrying that kind of secret for so long, and now after all these years, that truth is bubbling up to the surface and ready to explode? Ever since Ramir found out the truth, it's been a straight-up roller coaster trying to get answers. And tragically, not long after dropping that truth on him, his mother, Wanda, passed away. But before she died, she made sure to leave behind a sworn affidavit doubling down on her claims that Jay-Z was without a doubt Ramir's real father. Now you'd think with that kind of statement on record, Jay-Z would have stepped up and dealt with the situation. And Beyoncé, being the devoted mother she is to her own children, you'd expect her to maybe push him to take responsibility for Ramir too, right? But nope, silence. Total crickets. And insiders claim it was Beyoncé allegedly pulling the strings again, keeping this whole thing buried deep. But Ramir wasn't backing down. After losing his mom, he took matters into his own hands, teaming up with his legal guardian, Lily Coley, to keep the fight going. Together, they refused to let this thing get swept under the rug. They kept pressing for justice. And in December 2014, they finally dropped a civil lawsuit against Jay-Z, exposing some serious, never-before-heard claims. The kind of details that could shake the whole Carter empire if they're ever confirmed. And now, that legal pressure is creeping closer than ever. So according to Ramir and his guardian Lily Coley, they've been trying for years to get Jay-Z to take a DNA test. But every time they got close, Jay allegedly found a way to slip out of it, and it didn't stop there. He actually accused them of lying to the courts and submitting fraudulent documents. Then he tried to get the whole case blocked and buried before it even had a chance. They're saying Jay-Z and even Beyoncé allegedly used their power and influence to manipulate the legal system, all to dodge the paternity test and keep this secret locked away for good. But it doesn't stop with the Carters. According to reports, Lily and Ramir didn't just aim their legal fight at Jay-Z. They turned around and sued their own lawyers. Yup, the very people who were supposed to be on Ramir's side. Word in the streets is they believe those attorneys were secretly working against him the entire time. Allegedly, those lawyers had private convos with Jay-Z's legal team behind the scenes and were pulling strings to sabotage Ramir's case from the inside. Lily claims their lawyers made moves that led to major procedural mistakes, not just little slip-ups. We're talking the kind of errors that completely wrecked their shot in court. Because of those shady actions, the case ended up getting tossed out by the Philadelphia courts. And now people are wondering, was this really just legal missteps or something deeper at play? Either way, this case has been tangled in secrets, sabotage, and serious allegations from the jump. After the Philadelphia courts tossed out Ramir's case, things didn't just quiet down, they got petty. Jay-Z and Beyoncé have been dropping some bold shade at Ramir over the years, and one moment had the internet buzzing nonstop. In their track Heard About Us, Jay-Z dropped lines that many believe were directly aimed at Ramir. He rapped, "Billie Jean in his prime, for the 1,000th time, the kid ain't mine. Online they call me dad, kiddingly. You're not supposed to take this dad thing literally." Now that ain't just some casual bar. Comparing himself to Billie Jean, a song all about a woman falsely accusing a man of being her child's father, was a clear denial, and the sarcasm, heavy. It wasn't just slick wordplay, it sounded like Jay was firing back at the whole situation with a smirk. And the fact that Beyoncé was on the same track, co-signing the lyrics, just added a whole new layer to it. For a couple that stayed quiet in court, they sure had a lot to say on the mic. And Jay-Z didn't stop with that one verse, he kept it going. In the same track, he dropped more lines that had folks raising eyebrows. That's too famous. We don't even really do famous. I'm cool on that. Check the 2 fingers every day. I'm getting sued. I show up to court without a suit. Your every move is in the news, ain't it? It has its perks too, ain't it? It was like he was airing out the whole situation on beat, brushing it off with sarcasm while still throwing jabs. And with Beyoncé riding shotgun on that track, it wasn't just shade, it was a full-on message. The fact that both of them publicly leaned into the controversy while Ramir was still out here fighting to get a fair day in court, that said a lot. But one thing's clear, Ramir did not fold. Almost a decade later, he's still standing tall, keeping this case alive. And now, the pressure on Jay-Z is heavier than ever. A judge has finally ruled in Ramir's favor and made a key move in the case. And Ramir's not holding back anymore. He's stepping into the spotlight with full confidence. He and his guardian, Lily Coley, just sat down for a bombshell interview with reporter Liz Crokin, and they aired it all out. The years-long legal battle, the back and forth, the silencing attempts, they laid it bare. And what they revealed got the internet shook. Ramir and Lily claimed they've been hit with threats, and not just from trolls online. According to them, some of those threats allegedly came straight from Beyoncé's camp. That's right. They say people close to her have tried to scare them into backing off, but judging by how bold Ramir's getting now, it looks like those threats only lit a bigger fire under him. Sources close to Beyoncé were allegedly trying to intimidate Ramir and his guardian into backing off the case, and they even suspect those threats might have come straight from Beyoncé herself. But it doesn't stop there. Lily claimed that multiple insiders privately came forward and dropped a bomb. They said Beyoncé was the main one in Jay-Z's ear, allegedly pushing him not to take the DNA test. If that's true, it flips the whole narrative upside down. Because for years, people thought Jay-Z was the one stonewalling. But if Beyoncé's the one pulling strings behind the curtain, that changes everything. Now, with the courts finally listening and the DNA test actually moving forward, Ramir's not backing down. He's pushing full throttle, ready to take this fight all the way to the end, no matter who tries to shut him up. At this point, the gloves are off. Jay-Z can't hide in the silence anymore, and Beyoncé, she's officially out of time. The secrets, the threats, the behind-the-scenes chess moves, they're all catching up. And if this DNA test comes back positive, that flawless image, the billion-dollar empire, the perfect couple brand, it could all come crashing down. So now here's the real question. What if Ramir was telling the truth this whole time? Will Beyoncé walk away from the mess? Will Jay-Z finally own up? Or will they keep trying to bury a scandal that's already halfway out of the grave? Whatever happens next, one thing's for sure and 2 things for certain. This story is far from over. Make sure to like, subscribe, share, and drop your thoughts in the comments because you know we're coming back with more updates. Catch you on the next one.